Hey, everybody, welcome back to I Know a Guy. I'm Anthony, and this is the podcast where connections thrive. Each episode, we spotlight inspiring entrepreneurs, professionals, and individuals doing amazing things. Together, we'll grow your circle, spark collaborations, and discover new opportunities. Today, we're meeting Andrew Cervenka, a business funding expert at Growth Architects LLC, where he helps business owners maximize funding options and strengthen lender relationships. With over a decade of experience in sales and customer relationship management, Andrew specializes in building strong business credit profiles to safeguard personal assets and secure better borrowing terms. How are you doing today, Andrew?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Pretty good. I can't complain. We're getting into the meat of the week, so it's been a lot of fun. Been busy already, but that's a good thing. So,
Absolutely.
You're doing some cool things. You're helping a lot of businesses. So there's people out there that for sure need to know you. So to get to know you a little bit, where are you calling in from? Where are you located?
Yeah, so I'm good luck spelling this, but I live in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. So it's one of the western suburbs of Milwaukee. So I'm about halfway between Madison and Milwaukee. But lifelong Wisconsinite, and kind of migrated from the north, almost on Lake Superior, and now I'm down here outside Milwaukee in the suburbs. So
Yeah, there's a lot of towns up there named things I can't pronounce. So
yeah, I'm originally from Butternut. So
okay,
have fun with that.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's fun up there? If you have friends coming into town, where are you going? What are you doing? And where are you guys going for dinner?
Oh my gosh, we're in technically lake country, they call it, on the western side. A lot of lakes, so a lot of fine, very nice establishments on the water. When it's nice outside, not right now, but in the summertime, grabbing some drinks and apps on a dock or a deck somewhere overlooking a lake is kind of the hot spot. I'm partial to fish fries on Friday nights here in Wisconsin, so there are quite a few spots that we've discovered over the years of living here.
That sounds good. See, I'm not a huge fan of seafood, but there's something about a fish fry. I grew up near the Mississippi, and it was I hate fish, but then you go to a catfish fish fry, and you're like, yeah, it's not so bad.
Wonderful, yeah, beer battered or just deep fried or however. I'm a big fan of fish.
Yeah, absolutely. So awesome. Well, what can you tell us about what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So a high level, 30,000 foot overview. The vast majority of small businesses out there are struggling with financing and funding from their banking. Their banker could be their best friend, what have you, but there are so many AI tools these days that if you don't fit the box of the bank, you're going to get an automatic denial before you ever even get to talk to your banker, or even if he is your best friend. So there's a lot of lender compliance things. A lot of AI is out there touching your business without you even knowing, and there can be a lot of little things that stack up to disqualify you from achieving that funding that you need. So working with a firm like ourselves, we walk through very procedural step-by-step processes to look at all 150, 160 data points that make up a truly bankable business that can range from having a website. I mean, it's very common for every business to have a website out there, but a big stumbling block is not utilizing that domain for email. I see it so often, joesroofing@gmail.com. That's a red flag. It's all about the legitimacy on paper. I mean, even though you are a legitimate business, AI doesn't know that, and they're going to judge you on all these things and throw up the red flags and prevent you from seeking funding. So correcting those in a short 3 to 5 month runway is key and crucial to get out of the broker market and back to your banking institutions to pay off that high interest funding. And then beyond that, over the course of a 1 year runway, we're working on the credit profiles of the entity, of that EIN that is associated with your LLC, S Corp, C Corp, however you're structured, so that it can then start leveraging that for some funding and start chipping away at the personal guarantee aspect of seeking funding.
Okay. How'd you get started doing this? Is this something you've always wanted to do? You grew up thinking, you know what, I want to get into, or is there a story there?
A little bit of a story. So my background is the automotive industry. From 2006 to 2022, I was in the auto industry in some shape or form. The last 10 years of that, I was a manufacturing sales rep for a company out here in Wisconsin, covering 7 states, working with a lot of small business owners. I mean, that was I had a client list of about 1,200. Most were single shops, but it started getting into the regional distributors and chain stores and e-commerce resellers. But so that was great. I loved it. I loved it for 10 years. But in that time, I got married and have kids, and I can't be in a hotel 3-4 nights every week anymore. So I started looking at other opportunities and came across Growth Architects and what they're doing, and and really started diving into it because it did seem very interesting to me. No, not just that I could work remotely, but that it is a very needed thing in the small business community these days. Coming from a small town of 400 people, my father was a small business owner, and I saw what would happen. Early on, I think I was about 5 or 6. My parents lost their first business to business bankruptcy. I don't know all the details there. I just know it was bankruptcy. It was a rough time for us. My father and mother picked up pieces. Dad started a new construction business and ran that for 30 plus years. But I think he was always, and he did right by us. We lived comfortably, but just knowing what I know now and the security that I can help these small businesses with, Cervenka Construction might have been the go-to name in northern Wisconsin, and he's retired now, and unfortunately the business is closed. But so learning about this process really spoke to me on a personal level. But then also, hey, I've got 1,200 clients that need to know about this. 1,200 connections that I've known for 10 years and I'm still working through that list because it's hard to get them all on the phone. There's only so many hours in a day. But just learning that it is a strategy that so few utilize, and 33 million small businesses in America, and the vast majority of them can benefit from this type of thinking.
What is it that you love most about what you're doing now?
Helping people, helping them protect their home, their assets. When an LLC is formed and it's supposed to give you protection, I mean, it always kind of bothers me a little bit when, I don't have a corporation, I just have an LLC. Well, what does the C stand for in LLC? Limited Liability Corporation, by definition, meaning liability is limited to that corporation. It's not just a tax break or what have you. So that protection is scratched and torn down every time you're signing for a personal guarantee with anything related to the business funding, whether it's business credit cards, lines of credit at your vendors, and term loans, bank loans, any type of funding and financing, SBA. They all want you on the hook for your business, no matter how well your business is doing. You have to put up your house and your assets as collateral, in the form of collateral, that you promise that note to be repaid, come hell or high water. It's going to be done, and they're going to get their money back. And unfortunately, there's a sad statistic done by the SBA in 2022. They did a survey that nearly 600,000 small businesses in America closed, and on average, that left the business owner liable for $83,000 of business debt because of personal guarantees. So it's helping people not stress about cash flow, not stress about funding, definitely has been the highlight of me being in this space for the last 2 years.
And then if you're looking at like your average client or the pain points that somebody might be going through, that if they're dealing with XYZ, you're the person that they should be talking to.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've our firm is kind of niched down into those expense-heavy type industries. So construction, trades-related, manufacturing, those businesses that are generally up against some cash flow crunches with accounts receivables. I mean, nobody's paying 100% of a house build up front. So, they're opening up credit for the entity, having breathing room on cash flow. And generally when they're buying vehicles or equipment, not all of them are paying cash for a brand new work truck. They're reliant on funding or financing. So it's just ways to help, again, insulate the owner from the business and seek better funding, and be prepared for that funding when the need arises.
Okay. What about power partners? What are other professionals or industries there where you find a lot of collaboration, working with a lot of referral potential back and forth?
Oh, absolutely. The banking industry, business bankers, because I alluded to earlier, so many of them are not able to satisfy the needs of their clients. So they're referring out to brokers, and not that there are a lot of sharks in that game. There are really good brokers that I partnered with. We refer business back and forth, but if I can help the bankers realize that we're going to help your clients get back to being qualified to get funding from them directly, and not have to take them to broker markets or refer them out, keep them in house to satisfy their needs. I mean, that's a huge one for me. So business bankers, CPAs, bookkeepers, fractional CFO type workers. All very synergistic, because in that realm, I view myself as a very bolt-on enhancement to what they're already trying to do for their clients, help them grow and scale securely. And we're focused in on this niche. It's an important niche, and I wish more people knew about it. But yeah, I don't try to upset the cart. Just tag on as another wheel on the back of that thing to make things roll smoother.
Absolutely. So you work with business owners every day. You're one yourself. What advice would you give a new or aspiring entrepreneur?
Well, in relation to the business credit field, educate yourself. Be mindful of when you're going out there seeking different lines of credit or vendor credit, or even your business credit card. You've got some time in business and you're qualified. 18 or 24 months in to get your first business credit card. Ask them where it's reporting. I mean, because the realm of business and corporate credit, it's unregulated, and so not everybody's forced to report to the bureaus. I'm talking Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, Equifax, and Credit Safe. They're not required to report, so it's a very small window of vendors out there that are reporting. So if you can always just be mindful of how your expenses are being paid, and if you can get a little more creative and find vendors that are reporting on your behalf, absolutely utilize those vendors. I'm not saying spend more money than you're already spend more just needlessly. Just be strategic about how you're paying for things. For example, I mean, there is, you can get the Amazon business account that does report, the Costco business account that does report. How many businesses out there shop at Amazon or Costco for stuff for their business without even thinking? They just put it on the business debit card, to separate out expenses. But if you just open up that additional line of credit, you're getting all that payment history tracked, because your business debit card doesn't report, and 9 out of 10 business credit cards don't report. So it's just having that knowledge and that mindset that this is something to work at, and monitoring your business credit. That's another key. There are the bureaus out there. There are many services where you can pull those reports. At least I would say twice a year would be smart to look at that, checking for fraud, checking for errors, but also that what you're spending your money on is helping you for that end goal of separating yourself from the business. A good basis I usually tell a lot of businesses is look at your last 12 months of overhead operating expenses. Whatever that dollar amount is, that truthfully should be close to what your business can borrow on its own against itself without needing you as the parent co-signer, personal guarantor, for securing that funding.
Okay. No, that's fantastic advice. And more people need to have that, in their head going in, because it's very overlooked until it's not. You're like, oh, well, I got myself into a pickle. So awesome.
Absolutely.
How can business owners improve their bankability and secure better funding options?
Yeah, increasing bankability again goes back to those data points. I mean, we do a comprehensive assessment done complimentary comprehensive assessment to kind of show them the scorecard of where they stand. There's no commitment to working with us in any way. It's just, again, arming business owners with knowledge. So going through those all that data, making sure things are set up correctly. Business addresses are matching everywhere. So many small businesses start out of their house. They have the LLC registered to their home, but then they have a brick and mortar down the road. Well, everything needs to transfer over to that brick and mortar. It needs to be a commercial space in the eyes of lending institutions, because a home address is a red flag. Also, maintaining a positive bank account balance. I mean, you want a minimum a low 5+ rating, which I think is an average of north of $5,000 in your business banking account monthly. So that is another key thing. And comparable credit. I mean, everybody wants to save on taxes and reduce their taxable income, but that is counterintuitive for when you're seeking funding, from banks. You have to be showing that there is revenue being generated, positive revenue being generated, and you are paying taxes on it. Otherwise, if you are a $4 million business, but you whittled your taxes down to 50 grand or whatever, that doesn't look good in the eyes of trying to seek funding.
Okay. How can building a strong business credit profile help safeguard your personal assets?
Building those to their fullest extent. Business credit on a scale is 0 to 100, and there are 4 different tiers to that. So you want to be at the highest tier, tier 4, and 80+. that is when you've built the credit of the entity enough to demonstrate that it can sign for things on its own. Like the most easiest analogy would be business credit cards. There is, if you're building your credit enough for the entity, you can graduate from business credit cards, personally guaranteed, to corporate credit cards, which are tied to the EIN only. So it's just looking at the different things that do have a guarantee, a personal guarantee against it, and navigating through this process to get to the point where you're chipping away at those. I mean, the less exposure you have tied to business funding personally, the better you're going to be off.
Okay. And then how can entrepreneurs strengthen lender relationships to access better borrowing terms?
Again, that was back to the bankability aspect of it. Fixing those lender compliance issues, keeping that low 5 bank rating, and that's the key. I'll leave it at that.
Awesome. I know there's so much here that I don't even know. It's been something newer to me that I've kind of heard about for the first time in the last couple of years. And every time I talk to somebody like yourself, I'm learning more about it. And it's woefully under, a lot of us are woefully undereducated in this space. So just in general, I know we could go down rabbit holes here, but just in general, is there anything that I missed or failed to ask that you wanted to add?
I so often I run across that businesses think they're building business credit. So I want to hammer home that you need to be monitoring your business credit reports. There are many agencies out there that you can look at your Experian report, your credit safe report. Take advantage of that. Pay the $50, pay the $100, whatever it is, twice a year, just to monitor that things are, what you're doing is actually building true business credit. Now, there's another way to look at that business credit within an institution like your bank with your business credit card. Yeah, they start you off at a $4,000 limit and you use it and pay it off responsibly. They'll start bumping your scores up because your business credit with them is growing, but it's not transferable to another institution because it's not being reported to the bureaus. So actively thinking about this, I'm always open for a conversation. It's a lot of what I do is a lot of education on our first meetings because I want to learn about them and where their strategy is and how they want to grow, and at least leave them with additional guidance on where things could be improved, even if they decide to work with me or not. I'm happy to help them out.
For those that want that education, that would like to have a conversation with you, how can they get a hold of you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, they can find us find me on LinkedIn, Andrew Cervenka. Our website is growtharchitects.us. My email, andrewc@thegrowtharchitects.com, or my cell number is always on my hip, 715-663-0404.
Perfect. If anybody would like to get a hold of Andrew, absolutely do it. If you're a business owner and you've maybe heard about business credit, or you think you got an idea, but you're not sure, find out for sure. You want to make sure you're protecting yourself, your business, your personal assets. All of that goes into it. And the last thing you want to do is for something like this to be a surprise. If you think you know it all, great. Have that conversation. Find out if you do or not. Worst case scenario, you're going to walk away knowing a little bit more than you do going in. Because people like they're out there like Andrew, their whole job is to educate you and help you. Your business is going to be way more successful if you can get that business credit. So absolutely reach out and have that conversation. If somebody would like to get a hold of me, you can find me at ikag.me. You can find more episodes, subscribe to our newsletter, and connect with our growing community. If you or somebody would like to be interviewed, you can also apply on our website. But Andrew, I really appreciate you taking the time and coming on and pouring into us. And like I failed to mention before, I'm going to put all this stuff in the show notes, so it's going to be super easy for people to find, to have that connection. You're doing awesome things. You're helping a lot of businesses, and small business is the backbone of the country, right? Any little bit that we can do to help that along, that's rising tide lifting all ships. So it's awesome that you're out there doing what you're doing. Let's all go out, have an awesome day, and grow our circles. All right.
Thank you.
My pleasure.